Taran Killam is calling in.
Woo!
I'm here.
Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here.
Well, Maya, take it away.
Okay. So just first of all, thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk to you.
Oh, me too. I feel the same way. I believe you spoke with my wife before. Yes, Maya?
Yes,
Kobe with Kobe
I
Smulders.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She told me what a great conversation it was. So I've been looking forward to it.
Thank you. She was one of my favorite interviews I've ever done. So
Yeah. Now you can understand how I feel every day. Breakfast is the best. Just I feel like I'm interviewing her each time about her night's sleep. Yeah, she's my favorite person, and she's the best. But yeah, she really enjoyed talking to you too.
Thank you. Well, please tell her I say hello.
I will.
Thank you. So my first question for you is, when was the moment you first knew you wanted to be an actor?
That is a great question. The first moment I knew I wanted to be an actor was it kind of came after I had started performing, actually. Like my family, I grew up in the South Bay area of Los Angeles before we moved to Big Bear, California. So we were kind of in the beach, and then we went to the mountains and back to the beach. But all that to say, when I was 4 or 5, I would participate in our local church's productions. So we did like the Nutcracker, and we did a David and Goliath play, and we did the Wizard of Oz. And so I had little parts in that. And I just always loved kind of the collaboration and the social hang of performing, particularly in theater. You get to hang out with your friends and make believe. But the moment I knew I wanted to do it for the rest of my life was when I saw Tim Burton's Batman in the theaters, the 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton as Batman Bruce Wayne. And I just remember him in that black like rubber suit soaring down on the rooftops and like taking out the bad guy. It made everything that I loved playing make believe with, like my action figures and comic books, all the fantasy that was in my head. I felt like that movie put it on the screen and made it feel real. It made it feel like, oh, that actually exists. And that sensation, that feeling was something that I've always hoped to pursue, even to this day.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I know that you studied musical theater and you were actually in Hamilton.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering, was it like a dream come true to be a part of Hamilton on Broadway?
100%. Because I, like the rest of the world, was already just such an enormous fan of the genius work of art from Lin-Manuel Miranda. And Kobe and I actually were already friends with Lin. We loved In the Heights, his first musical. And we got to know him a little bit better because he wrote some music for Kobe's sitcom for How I Met Your Mother. He actually wrote a couple pieces for that as well. So we'd become friendly with him. So we were kind of hearing about the process of it. He's like, yeah, it's a hip hop musical about the guy on the $10 bill. And we're like, okay, we'll see what that is. And then when we finally saw it at the Public Theater before it went to Broadway, we sobbed through the whole thing. We were immediate super fans. And then when Lynn and Tommy, the director, asked me to jump in to play the King after my time on SNL, it was literally the kindest professional thing anybody's ever done for me, because as much as I love doing SNL, it was a very draining and exhausting chapter of my life. And then going to do something like Hamilton that is so joyful and lovely, and everybody who's doing it is proud to do it, and everybody who comes to see it is like beyond excited to see it. It was truly like a dream come true, like you said.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of musical theater. So.
Oh, that's awesome. What do you have a favorite musical?
I have a couple. So besides from Hamilton, like my all-time favorite is Spring Awakening.
Oh, amazing. Yes, such a good show.
Yeah, during like at the start of quarantine and when everything was locked down, I listened to so many Broadway soundtracks. Like I discovered so many new ones, including Spring Awakening, and I just
wonderful.
became obsessed. And then I also like How I Met Your Mother was also on all the time because I was having so much
Awesome.
anxiety at the start. So I just like every morning I'd wake up and get kind of panicked. So I just go down and watch How I Met Your Mother.
I totally get that. That's so lovely to hear that was your happy place. Our family did the same thing as you. Like musicals became one of our happy go-tos. Like the girls really fell in love with Waitress during the pandemic, and like she used to be mine. That song was on repeat, and then are you familiar with Waitress, with that musical at all? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Never Ever Getting Rid of Me. I love you means you're never ever getting rid of me. Like we would like have a dance party listening to that song. We did the exact same thing. And then Great British Baking Show. That made us very happy during quarantine too. Cause like you, it's a very scary time for sure.
Yeah. I drive my family a little bit crazy with how much I just have all the Broadway soundtracks on repeat, but
I love it.
Exactly how my mom was. She told me like that she was the same way with like Evita and some other soundtracks, that she would drive like her friends crazy. Yeah. So I'm exactly like my mom.
That's awesome. I love it. There's something so cathartic about singing in general. You know what I mean? About like sometimes it can be so hard to express really big feelings, really big emotions, I think. And there's something, I think like that's one of the biggest powers of a show tune, is that you're like releasing all that pent up emotion and misery and tragedy, but also euphoria and joy at the same time. That it is such a healing thing. Yeah. For me, it's Les Mis. Like I can listen to Les Mis start to finish over and over and over again.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, well, my next question is actually about Saturday Night Live. And I've been like watching all of your seasons of
awesome.
the show. And because your sketches just always make me laugh.
Thanks,
and I was wondering, what was it like to become a part of the cast, and did you have a favorite sketch you wrote or performed?
That is a big question. I mean, it was my dream job for most of my adult life to be a cast member on Saturday Night Live was like the goal. I was every sort of professional minute and effort I put towards trying to put myself in a position where I would be seen by them and I could audition for them. And I actually had to audition 3 times. And then on the 3rd time, finally got the job. And I remember Seth Meyers called to tell me I got it. And he called me in New York the night of like my sort of last interview. And he called me like 1:30 in the morning, and I was still up just because like I was still pumped full of adrenaline. And it was like winning the lottery, right? It's sort of like you can't believe it. Even though you put so much effort and hope and momentum into pursuing it, the fact that they actually said yes was like, I couldn't believe it. And I immediately called my wife. I immediately called my mom, and she and I cried on the phone. And I couldn't believe it. And part of the reason Seth called me so late is because I had a very early flight the next morning to come back to Los Angeles, which is where all my family was. And just as a coincidence, getting on that flight, it's like a 7 a.m. flight, sitting in business class with Seth Meyers. Like I'm walking back to my seat and coach, and he goes, Taran, hey, fancy meeting you here. He's like, just think, if you spend 9 years, eventually you'll land business class as well. He was so nice. And it was a dream come true. In terms of favorite sketches, there was so many that I loved. Like a big one, your first sketch is always a big deal. So I did this like French dance absurdist, like interpretive movement, absurd, silly dance with Emma Stone the first time she hosted. And that sketch will always have a soft place in my heart. We did a sketch called the Maryville Brothers, where we played like possessed animatronics in a carnival ride. And the first time I did that was with Jim Carrey, who was my hero growing up, and getting to do physical comedy with him was a true dream come true. And then like there was a pre-tape we did called Mokiki Does the Sloppy Swish, which again, like a lot of my stuff made no sense, but that's just the sillier and the weirder, the better for me. I don't know why that just particularly like tickles my funny bone. I like very odd, weird things. But that one we kind of just shot on our own, like me and my two friends, Matt and Oz, who had been hired as directors, but we were friends before they got the show. We kind of just went guerrilla style, and we went out on the streets of Manhattan and filmed the sketch on our own. And then Anne Hathaway was hosting, and they had screened Mokiki without Anne in it the week before, and it went pretty well. People kind of liked it. They're like, this is weird and fun. And so they saved it, and we reshot some stuff with Anne Hathaway in it. And that's the one that's kind of out in the world. But that one is a big favorite of mine.
Oh, cool.
What do you, is that you said before we started talking, the one behind you, the Tim Tebow sketch, that's one of your faves. Yeah. That was a good one. That was really fun, because that was the holiday show. And sometimes, I don't know if you've seen this on the holiday show, they'll have the cast go down to the ice rink and you'll ice skate at the end of the show. And Jimmy Fallon was hosting that week, and he really pushed for it. And I was so grateful to him, because he's like, oh, we gotta ice skate, right? I mean, it's SNL tradition. And so they put the Tim Tebow sketch in as the last sketch, but Jimmy was worried because we had Jimmy playing Jesus in that sketch actually originally, and he was worried he wouldn't have enough time. So Jason stepped in, and Jason played that perfectly. But then Jason and I had to run down as Tim Tebow and Jesus, like down in the elevator to get down to the ice rink in time for the end credits. And it was that was a really special memory from that.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Saturday Night Live was another show that I always liked a bunch of the skits from it, but I never actually saw a full episode. So during quarantine, I just started, since they were all on Peacock, I started watching them.
Awesome. Yeah, it was my favorite show growing up, and there's just nothing like it, right? There's nothing that has that sort of live, thrilling variety performance thing. I love it. I love it so much.
Oh, cool.
I'm glad you like it too.
Thanks. So you were also in the series Single Parents, which was so funny and had such a great cast. Did you ever have a hard time staying in character because you were just cracking up?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Brad Garrett is very, very funny, and I have loved him for a long time, from Everybody Loves Raymond, but even more so like from all the Pixar movies he's done. He does a voice in Tangled. He's the guy with the hook hand and the shit. He's always got the real deep voice, I
actually didn't know that.
Oh yeah. So if you know Tangled?
Yes, I love that movie.
Me too. And so the I've Got a Dream, I've got a dream. He's the first one that sings like, I'm ferocious, mean, and scary. I don't know. And he's got the deep voice. He also, in Finding Nemo, he's the blowfish in the aquarium. He does the voice of the blowfish. So yeah, so I mean, getting to work with him, but he's also just a hilarious stand-up comedian guy. But I really got along with Leighton Meester, who was on Gossip Girl, and we didn't know each other beforehand, but she and I bonded very quickly and became friends, and we would kind of make each other laugh a lot. And there were some definitely giggly, loopy scenes together where we would laugh and then get frustrated at each other because we were laughing so much, and we just wanted to get the scene done and let the poor crew go home to their families. But yeah, that was one of the happiest jobs I've ever had.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So, you've been in so many different things. Is there a role that you've related to the most?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I probably my role of Will Cooper on Single Parents, that also just came into my life in a moment where, like, we had moved back to LA. We'd settled. My wife and I have 2 daughters, so I was getting to play like the father of a daughter. So that one tugged at my heartstrings probably more than anything I'd done before. On SNL, you're playing so many weird, oddball characters that certainly there are parts of myself in every one of those, like weird, eccentric, big characters. But with Single Parents, to play just like a nice, loving father of a daughter felt particularly close to me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just have a few more quick questions.
Great,
for
yeah.
you. So is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
So yes, our family loves, as I sort of mentioned, we love a baking show. So Great British Bake Off has a new season, and that's like our happy place. We've also found, oh God, what is it called? Impossible Baking, or the Impossible Baker. Do you know it? Where it's baconeering, they call it, like engineering and baking together.
Oh.
We love that. We love Nailed It, obviously. I don't know if you know Nailed It with Nicole Byers, but she's the funniest, and that show brings us so much joy. And actually, our 12-year-old daughter has gone back and sort of similar to what you were saying about SNL and about How I Met Your Mother, she's starting Friends. Enough of her classmates at school were like, Friends is the best. So we're just about to finish season 1. We're going back and we're binging that, and that's really fun.
Yeah, that's another one of my happy shows.
That's such a good show.
Have my friend's shirt on.
Oh, do you? Oh, funny. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and I also have a How I Met Your Mother necklace. So.
Oh, no way. Oh, that's hilarious. We have so much in common. Yeah, I mean, like, they're just feel-good shows, and they're just such great characters, such specific, well-performed characters. Yeah, we love it.
So, what song do you always play when you want to have a dance party?
Oh my God, what a great question. I have too many to mention. Do you know Once in a While by Time Flies?
I don't.
That's a really good one. It goes, the chorus goes, once in a while I ask myself, what am I doing? Once in a while I feel like I just want to dance and feel good. And then it's kind of like a chime, like da, 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 da. That's a really good one. Time Flies, Once in a While. Another good one is oh God, what is it called? It's called the band it's like a mashup. So it's like the Kungs, Kungs versus Cooking on Three Burners. Hold on, I got to look this up because it's a good one too. Kungs versus Cooking on Three Burners, and the song is called This Girl. Do you know that song?
I don't.
It's another great one.
Cool.
And then each person in our family has a different one, like Blinding Lights. That's become a very big one by the weekend. What's yours? What's your go-to?
Right now it's any song by Tyler Posey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I got to check it out. Tyler Posey.
Yeah, I love him.
Okay, cool. I'm not super familiar with Tyler Posey, but I'm going to check it out.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We love Olivia Rodrigo. She's queen in our house right now.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah.
But Tyler Posey, you got to check it out.
Yeah. And I'm going to check out all the songs you mentioned.
Yeah. Once in a while, that's kind of my go-to, like just dancing and letting loose. That's a really good one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero and why?
Oh my gosh. So many people in this last year and a half. I mean, all of our medical professionals, every nurse, doctor, paramedic, medical technician who are just literally saving lives every day. I mean, it's harder to find someone more deserving and more admirable of that title, I think. Particularly just with the strain of this weird time and this global pandemic. So yeah, every single one of our doctors and every first responder. I live in California, and unfortunately, more frequently, there's these wildfires. So all the firefighters and first responders there, we're lucky that we do live in a world with in my opinion, so many admirable, decent people who are trying to make the world a better place. But yeah, I feel like there's many, but those are the first people that come to my mind.
Cool. Yeah, I definitely agree with those. So I had so much fun talking to you.
Thank you so
Maya. Much for calling.
You're the nicest. You're the greatest. I really, really appreciate you having me.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough for calling in.
Oh, you already have. This was such a treat. You made my day. Truly, this is the bright spot of my day by a mile. So thank you for taking the time, and thanks for doing such great research and watching so much of our work. It means a lot to both Kobe and I. So thank you.
All right. You have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. Bye.